who are you and what track are you managing for IT Dev Connections? My name is John Savill. I'm an 11-time Microsoft MVP. I've just finished my 8th book on Microsoft technologies, which is Mastering Windows Server 2016 Hyper-V. I speak at a lot of the major industry conferences, and I create a lot of blogs, technical articles, and videos. And for IT Dev Connections, I'm going to be managing the Cloud and Datacenter track, or the best track, as we like to call it. So what is your vision for the track? I think it's an amazing time right now. In the cloud, the data center space, and suddenly an IT admin, an architect, an IT director, the entire organization, they're suddenly faced with all of these options. Should I move to the cloud? Should I stay on premises? Do I want to use a bit of both? How do I do that? And when I think about what we can do with this track, it's really threefold. So one, educate. You need to understand what the options are. You need to fully understand from a real world perspective, what are the benefits? What are the downsides? Then I think about, well, what's involved from an architecture perspective? And I want to hear that from people who've actually done it. They've done this in the real world. They've seen the joys. They've got the pain. They've got the scars to prove it. We want to save you those scars. And then really three, well, how do I implement? How do I then maintain that technology as I roll it out into my organization? And then just rolling out the technology doesn't really mean anything unless it's well utilized. So how do we get the most out of it? How do I make the organization really embrace these technologies? What's been successful in other organizations? So yeah, how do I get it? But how do I then make it leveraged? How do I really get the full benefit of that technology investment for my company? So how will the content in your track help IT pros or developers do their jobs better? I really think this comes down to the exposure of the options. Hear what's great, here's what those pain points are, understand what's involved, understand how to get going, and how to really get the most out of the technologies. I mean, that's really how I think it's going to help the IT pros. What is it? Why do I care about it? How do I get it going in my company? And how do I do it the best way in real world experiences? So how will the content in your track help the attendee's employer? I really think from an organization perspective, sending someone to this track, the benefit is that those people attending are now going to come away with this, not just fantastic knowledge, but they're going to gain all these experiences from other people. They're going to really understand how to maximize that technology investment, how to enable these new capabilities in the organization. And through that, the IT department will move from, hey, they're the guys that just tell me, have you rebooted, to enabling new options, enabling new technology, enabling new ways to work, be able to respond that much faster to new requirements for the organization. The IT department really will become this champion for innovation within the company. And that's going to happen only with that right skill set and knowing how to use the technologies the right way. In your mind, what makes IT Dev Connections a must-attend event? So I think about IT Dev Connections as really covering this huge breadth of technologies, all these different tracks. And so you want to have that choice. Well, I may have interest in lots of different areas. So you want that breadth. But at the same time, you don't want to sacrifice depth and that, again, real world experience with the technologies. So I think really what's going to really be a must-attend reason for this is, sure, there's the breadth, but it's also going to be about getting the right people, presenting the right topics. And there's lots of super smart people. But the key is to get those super smart people who can transfer that knowledge in a meaningful way, who can convey what they understand to you that's attending, so you can actually do something useful with that knowledge. And that's what I think makes IT Dev Connections a must go to event. It's all the great technology, all the great information, but it's from the best speakers throughout the world who can take that knowledge and actually bundle that up into something useful that can be transferred to the audience, so then they can actually go and do something with it. And that's what I think is key. And I hope to see you there.